If you're left-wing and in the Labour Party, you must be wondering how much longer that'll be the case for these days, because under the management of Starmer's appointee to the post of General Secretary, David Evans, the biggest purge of members, aside from those already driven away by the right-wing lurch of the party, has been underway for months and has only accelerated recently in response to fears that Evans might not get confirmed by conference in his role. Purgemania. If we're to save the party from these unconscionable fools, we need to make sure that that comes to pass. David Evans has to be sent packing, and at conference, delegates will have the power to do just that. Acting General Secretary David Evans' tenure has been marked by control freakery and diktat, combined with repeated acts of self-harm and epic examples of gross incompetence against the Labour Party and its wider movement. The man is simply not fit for the office he holds, and since assuming it, he's acted as if he was safe and secure. But actually, he is still yet to be formally ratified and accepted by the Labour movement, and therefore his position is vulnerable. Normally, the act of conference ratifying the party leader's chosen candidate for this post is a formality. But with a leader as weak and disliked as Keir Starmer is, and his General Secretary selection, a man who has made himself incredibly unpopular in a very short space of time, this vote has actually become the main focus of Labour conference this year for a great many people. For months, Team Starmer had been trying to rig the delegates attending conference to ensure a right-wing majority was appointed to ensure Evans gets ratified. This has not worked out as well as they hoped. A lot of left-wing appointees have been made. So for all the purging of members that has been going on for several months, this process has recently been accelerated to remove as many awkward people for the weakest, most pathetic reasoning they can possibly find. Some conference delegates have found they're being put through extra checks. Others are finding themselves being sent NOIs, notices of investigation into alleged misconduct, or are being auto-excluded, a process not confined to delegates either, but happening to members around the country, for the crime of being left-wing, for the crime of being socialists, for the crime of standing against Keir Starmer and David Evans. The trouble is, this has exposed gross examples of incompetence. The party sent a notice of investigation to the chair of Young Labour, Jess Barnard, who immediately got her legal team involved, and this was quickly removed and told it had been an administrative error, a mistake. She had been sent it at 1 a.m. in the morning. Just what kind of outfits does people sending purge notices out at that time? David Evans, evidently. Just yesterday, we learnt that even Labour MPs aren't safe from this mistreatment, as Jarrow MP Kate Osborne also got sent a letter. Again, she got her legal team involved, and this was quickly claimed to be another administrative error. Just how incompetent can you get? But this raises a bigger concern, because leading figures in the movement such as these, with their legal representation and the privilege of their position, can get these things hurriedly dismissed. But for the wider Labour membership, no chance. How many of them are getting rolled over on, and who is reporting them? Should right-wing members be rolling over on left-wing comrades, that would be the political equivalent of scabs crossing a picket line. If Labour staff are being employed to sift through social media, for example, in order to build cases against members of their own party, that's a gross misappropriation of funds and resources, but would explain why the party seems to have so little time to attack the Tories, and little wonder why Johnson's recent polling blip over his national insurance rise already seems to have been recovered from, according to a recent YouGov poll. Normal due processes for this have been circumvented to suit the agenda of Starmer and Evans as they wreck our membership and any chance of electability we have. We already know of other cases, such as that of former PPC Pamela Fitzpatrick and Labour list Sienna Rogers, who reported on an investigation letter being sent to her house for somebody else who had never lived there and was no longer a member anyway. These are just gross errors that shouldn't happen in a competently run organisation. They've just gone completely rogue. The trade unions, the backbone of our movement, have taken notice too. Unite has already said it will instruct its delegates to Labour conference to vote against David Evans. The Bakers Union will almost certainly do likewise and may even vote to disaffiliate from Labour completely afterwards. Just yesterday, in light of what has happened to Kate Osborne, who, as a former postal worker, has close ties to them still, the Communication Workers Union has said it will instruct its delegates to vote against David Evans' ratification. And Matt Rack of the Fire Brigades Union, only recently re-affiliated under Jeremy Corbyn, has today stated he fully expects that his union will vote against David Evans' appointment too, and may well consider disaffiliating once more due to their dire behaviour. Aside from this, there's a left-wing NEC on the right-wing controlled Unison Union ready to cause problems going forwards, and the GMB are going to review their funding of Labour to ensure they are still getting value of money from its members, for its members. On top of that, Momentum members who are delegates have been instructed to now vote against Evans's appointment, as have member delegates of the CLPD, the Campaign for Labour Party Democracy, which, all things considered, shouldn't be too much of a surprise. In addition, we've learnt today that left-wing Labour MP John Trickett has put out on Twitter that the executive of his own CLP up in Hemsworth in Yorkshire had unanimously voted to not endorse David Evans either, making Trickett the first Labour MP to position himself against the acting General Secretary's formal appointment. These are huge problems on a variety of fronts for a party that inherited over £13 million when Jeremy Corbyn stepped down, but has been taken to the verge of bankruptcy by Starmer and Evans, forced to court donors and deliver whatever these wealthy individuals might want in return, rather than work for the interests of its members and the British people. And they call this the grown-ups being back in charge. All delegates have a responsibility to the movement to act now. Starmer and Evans have a track record, some 18 months now, of representing little aside from their own ideological desire for entrenched control of the party. Starmer promised unity and has delivered nothing of the sort. He has gone back on that and considerably more. He's demonstrated he's about as trustworthy as Boris Johnson, all things considered. David Evans is a Blairite who has imposed dictatorial instructions on Labour CLPs, abused the party rule book to rule motions out of order, and to do as he generally pleases. He's acted like the job was already his and the party his personal fiefdom. It isn't. He and Starmer need to be sent a message they cannot ignore. We need 50.01% of members to vote against David Evans's appointment. We need delegates to vote to fire him, as he has done to a quarter of party staff he can no longer afford to employ through his and Starmer's mismanagement. I'm recommending each and every delegate going to Labour conference ensure they cast their vote to vote down David Evans's appointment. We need someone not only competent but credible running the party, and it'll send a message to Keir Stalin that we've had enough of his abusive positions as well, and of the party, and he might want to consider his own position too. We've a slim chance of sending Evans packing, but it's a real chance. It'd be a great start to rebuilding a left alternative in this country, so we need to make sure everyone with a say in that knows to take it.